The scientific daily routine every man needs for maximum productivity must watch. Most men don't have a bad life, they have a bad day, and then another bad day, and then another one after that. And after enough bad days strung together, they wake up one morning wondering why their life looks nothing like what they imagined it would. And the answer is not complicated. It is not talent, it is not opportunity, it is not even discipline in the way most men think about it. It is structure. A man without a structured day is a man who is leaving his life up to whatever comes at him next, and whatever comes at you is rarely what moves you forward. Here is the truth that most men need to hear. Your morning does not start when your alarm goes off. Your morning starts the night before. The man who has no plan for tomorrow wakes up already behind. He wakes up reactive. He reaches for his phone before his feet hit the floor. He checks notifications before he's even fully conscious. And right there in that first moment of the day, he has already handed control of his mind to someone else, to the news, to social media, to whatever drama is trending this morning, and everything that follows carries that energy. Reactive, scattered, unfocused. By the time he gets to the real work of his day, he's already mentally exhausted from consuming everyone else's agenda. A man who is serious about his life does not start his day that way. He wakes up before the world demands something from him, not to suffer, not because pain is the point, but because those first moments of the day before the noise starts are the most valuable moments you have. That is your time. Your mind is fresh, the world is quiet, and what you do in that silence determines the trajectory of everything that follows. The first thing a man does when he wakes up is not reach for his phone. The first thing a man does is ground himself. Prayer, gratitude, a moment of stillness where he reconnects with his purpose before the day tries to pull him in 17 different directions. This is not religious performance. This is a man acknowledging that his life is not his own, that the breath in his lungs and the day in front of him are gifts. And a man who starts his day with that acknowledgement moves differently than a man who starts his day scrolling. After that stillness comes the body. A man who does not move his body in the morning is a man who is carrying dead weight into his day. You do not need 2 hours in the gym every morning. You need to get your blood moving. You need to wake up your body the same way you woke up your mind. Whether it is a full training session, a 30-minute run, or 20 minutes of movement at home, the point is that your body needs to be activated before you sit down to do the real work of the day. A man who skips this is operating at 60% of his capacity, and most men have accepted 60% as normal. Now here is where most productivity advice gets it wrong. They tell you to eat a perfect breakfast, drink your green juice, do your cold shower, meditate for 20 minutes, journal for 15, stretch, plan your day. And by the time you've done all of that, it is already 10 in the morning and you haven't done a single thing that actually moves your life forward. The routine is not the goal. The routine exists to serve the mission. So keep it tight, keep it intentional, and get to work. The most important block of your day is your deep work block. This is the 2 to 3 hour window where you do the work that actually matters. Not emails, not meetings, not administrative tasks, the actual work, the creative work, the building work. Whatever it is that moves your mission forward, your business, your craft, your side income, your content, your strategy, that gets your best hours. Not your leftover hours, not the time after you've already spent your mental energy on everything else. Your best hours. For most men, that window is somewhere between 7 and noon, before the day gets heavy, before the interruptions stack up, before the decision fatigue sets in. Guard that block like it is sacred, because it is. Ephesians 5:16 says to make the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. That is not just spiritual instruction, that is a productivity principle. Time is the one resource you cannot get back. And a man who wastes his best hours on low-value tasks is a man who is trading his future for his comfort right now. After your deep work block, you handle your responsibilities, your job, your obligations, your communication, the things that need to get done but do not require your highest mental output. This is the middle of the day, and this is where most men are actually the most active. Meetings, phone calls, emails, coordination. Handle all of it here. But understand that you are handling it with whatever mental energy is left after you already gave your best to what matters most. That is the sequence: mission first, everything else after. Now let's talk about the middle of the day, because this is where most men fall apart. Lunch becomes a 2-hour break. The afternoon becomes a scroll session. The energy dips, and instead of pushing through or resting intentionally, they just drift. They check their phone, they get pulled into conversations that go nowhere, and by 3 or 4 in the afternoon they have lost the thread of the day completely. A high-functioning man does not drift in the afternoon. He either pushes through with a focused secondary work block, or he rests intentionally, a 20-minute reset that recharges him for the second half of the day. Not 2 hours of Netflix. 20 minutes of intentional rest, eyes closed, phone down, mind quiet, and then back to work. The evening is where the day is won or lost for tomorrow. Most men treat the evening as a throwaway. The day is done, so now they just consume. TV, social, media, food, whatever numbs the tiredness, and that is fine occasionally. But a man who does that every single evening is a man who never recovers properly. He goes to bed mentally stimulated and physically sedentary, and he wakes up the next morning already tired. A productive evening has 3 things. First, a review. 5 minutes looking at what you actually accomplished today, not to judge yourself, to recalibrate, to see where you moved forward and where you wasted time. Second, a prepare. 10 minutes getting ready for tomorrow. Your schedule, your priorities, your top 3 things that must happen tomorrow no matter what. When you wake up tomorrow, you should already know exactly what you are doing. No decision fatigue before the day even starts. Third, a wind down, an hour before bed where you are not on screens, where you are letting your mind decompress, reading, prayer, a real conversation with someone you love, something that brings your nervous system down, so that when you sleep, you actually recover. Because sleep is not laziness. Sleep is the weapon most men are throwing away. A man who sleeps 6 hours because he thinks grinding through the night makes him more productive is a man who is running a car with no oil. It works for a while, and then it destroys the engine. You need 7 to 8 hours of real sleep, non-negotiable, because without it your focus is gone, your decision-making is compromised, your testosterone drops, your emotional control weakens, and everything you are trying to build suffers. Sleep is not a reward for a hard day. Sleep is preparation for the next one. Here is what all of this adds up to. A man who owns his morning, protects his deep work block, handles his responsibilities, rests intentionally, prepares his evening, and sleeps properly is not a man living an ordinary life. He is a man who is compounding. Every single day, he is stacking small intentional choices on top of each other. And compound interest works in life the same way it works in money. Small, consistent deposits over time create results that most men cannot even imagine from where they are standing right now. You do not need a perfect routine. You need a consistent one. You need a structure that fits your life, your schedule, your obligations, and your mission. And then you need to protect that structure like your future depends on it. Because it does. The man God is calling you to become is not going to show up by accident. He is going to be built. One morning at a time, one intentional hour at a time, one disciplined choice at a time. That is the work, and it starts tomorrow morning. Walk with God while you work for the crown. When He crowns you king, tell the world of the truth you found. That's king-level mindset. Kings don't beg. Kings don't bow. Kings build.